G'day, I'm Kanga. Through the many years I've been involved in surfing, I have a strong history with identifying and working with young emerging talent. Shane Horan, Sonny Garcia, Tom Curran, Lisa Anderson, lots of really great young surfers that, it's pretty easy to recognise someone that can be really great provided they have the right workload and develop properly. I've recently been working with a young kid, Ian Gentil, from Maui, and he really shows up as a 12-year-old as someone that has phenomenal talent. And the question is, will this talent survive the next 10 years of development? I'd like you to look at Ian's surfing here and just see how good he is for his age. And we'll talk further during this piece about what he needs to do to really move forward over the next few years to continue development.
Every time you meet a new young surfer, there's always the question of how good will they be, how will they handle a wave and everything. And with Ian Gentil, it was the same thing. But moves like that really impressed me. But most of all was wave selection. He seems to always get a couple of good waves. And his ability to finish off a wave cleanly. This means he's got a good natural style and a good ability to compete.
One of the things that I like to do when I'm working with a young surfer or any of the surfers is to go to various locations and see how they surf beach breaks, reef breaks, point breaks, and that really gives me a sense of what capabilities they have, where they're strong, and most importantly where they're weak. And I love to actually find these things out because it gives me something specific to work with. With Ian, he has a broad sense of skills, comes from Maui, so he has a good understanding of reef breaks. And I found quite a few things to work with him on.
Our first session at Huntington Beach was, a fairly good surf for Huntington. But Ian's performance wasn't that strong. The manoeuvres were not that good. But every so often he would come up with a little flash of brilliance, like that big slash there, big layback. But he would make mistakes, get good waves and fall. And then on this particular left-hander, he just looked very, very lackluster and total lack of energy and focus. But on this wave, you can see outside Ian pulls a big snap off the top, showing some style, gets caught behind, but is able to pull around the section and get back on the face. Now, I like the way that Ian's able to actually pull together entire waves with not only big spectacular moves, but he understands that you must finish your wave off completely. Our second session was at Newport Beach. High tide and waves breaking out the back and on the inside. That was an error in location and positioning in the lineup, but Ian still gets a wave and finishes it off neatly. On this ride, you can see he's correctly positioned in the peak and is able to pick up a wave that actually comes into the shore break. Now here, he has the ability to pull big moves, but wiping out is just not an option. And here you can see Ian pulls an air move that's a little bit simpler. 100% of the time he can make that move. Now here we have a nice outside wave, good selection of the wave, nice turns, and you can see that he's pumping into the inside. And I like to see big airdrop floaters like that and a complete finish of a wave. On this wave you can see early takeoff, big slash off the top, and timing to pull a second big outside move. Now this would be a high scoring wave in a competition. All you have to do is finish this wave off, and you can see that Ian's focus is on getting snaps, but also maintaining focus on finishing the wave off cleanly, which is good. Our third location was Salt Creek, and the waves were small on the inside, and I really wanted to get a look at Ian's backhand and see what was going on. And you saw a mistake there. He often makes those sorts of little easy mistakes. Now this wave was where he did a couple of nice snap moves, and he actually utilizes this wave really well with a real good tail out snap there, and pumps the wave all the way down to a finishing re-entry on the inside. Very clean completion of the wave. Nice big outside peak, a big chance for a maneuver and completing the wave, but Ian blows it again. But here's a wave where Ian gets a nice outside peak, does a clean re-entry off the top, bigger, more tail out slash, and finishes off with a really good tail-out re-entry at the end. Ian is clearly getting more comfortable with my system. Big manoeuvres, snapping moves, but make the wave. And you can see that that wave is very neatly put together. And here on a left-hander, we see Ian pulling off big snapping moves and falling, and we can't see any of that. Do big radical moves, but make the wave. Now we come to lower trestles, and this is really one of the easiest waves to ride, a high performance wave. I like the way in the crowd that Ian was able to get quality waves out there. He did nice off the top turns, cutbacks, and really flowed together the waves really well and completed rides which was very sort of mature for his age. And even though Ian got a lot of really nice little waves here and did some really nice moves, you can see how he gagged the bottom turn there, did a hard cutback and fell, he still makes mistakes, and this is some area that we can work on. So here's a wave, long down the wall wave, nice snapping move. But on this re-entry, he nosedives, and we talked about how not to do that. You need to have your board on edge. He immediately grabs the next wave. Now, two waves don't make one wave. So this is kind of an error in competing, and he finishes off this wave nicely, but he needs to have one complete wave and not fall. Now, most of the surfing I'd seen Ian do was on his forehand, but here on this left that lowers, he begins to show some real good rhythm and timing on this wave, which really indicates to me, particularly on these moves down the line here where he goes vertical 3 times in a row and always stays right on the face and moving down the line, it indicates that he has a really good backhand sense, and at lowers, riding backhand is the key to winning the contest. Swami's is one of California's most unforgiving crowd locations, but Ian, with his reef sense, was able to get good waves all through the day. On this wave you can see how he does a ton of bottom turn, top turn combinations, and he's able to do snaps, tail out, move the board around, and yet still work it all the way through to the shore break. And it's, maybe this inside section is worth 0.5 or maybe even 1 point. But if you do this, you're actually racking up points, you're being impressive for the judges. This is the sort of surfing you used to see a young Curran do. Again, Ian has good deep takeoff location, able to move the crowd out of the way, and surf this wave with nice rhythm and style, and fitting in manoeuvres linked to each of the key sections on the waves, which shows good flow. But a mistake on this re-entry spoils the wave. You can see on this wave Ian's confidence is growing as he throws down a really big layback move. I like this performance level. On this wave you can see that Ian's confidence level has grown and his surfing has improved. Nice utilisation of the wave, beautiful big cutback re-entry there, and this committed bottom turn to vertical re-entry air combination is really an extraordinary move. But the most important thing that I like about this move is the commitment to the performance, but then the landing of the move and riding out into the rest of the wave to finish it off.
So in the end, with Ian Gentil, I found him to be a really, really talented surfer, really mature for his 12 years of age, with great potential to grow, and living in Maui has many, many opportunities to do that, to learn how to surf bigger and more powerful surf, and to hang in Hawaii and become one of the local crew. So there's lots of advantages. But, and here's the big but, there are so many obstacles that a young kid like Ian can run into, whether they're social problems, whether they're, sex, drugs, rock and roll. All of these things can serve to derail a young talent. So there's lots of things that Ian and his parents must really focus on over this course of these next 5 to 10 years before we can really say that Ian Gentil is a kid that can really make it. In my personal opinion, he's a great young kid and he has terrific opportunities. He has the talent to be great, and I think that with the proper management he can become an awesome surfer in the future. So watch out for Ian Gentil. Hey, this is Kanga Cairns. I really hope you enjoyed this piece, and I hope that Ian really studies all of this and works hard on becoming as good as he can be. See you later, mate.